Hi friends, welcome to the Mastermind Moments Podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah, good morning, good evening. I'm still finding it quite weird adapting. I know we had this before when you were traveling. And to be honest, even when I'm in the UK, you're in LA, or wherever you are in the world, but just the fact that it's my morning and your previous day, evening, it's just taking me a while to adapt to that. But yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely done that kind of time split before when I was traveling, but I hope tomorrow is beautiful and I'm excited to experience it myself. But you're just getting a head start on tomorrow, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you what the future holds, but my day's only just started. But it's nice. I'm quite enjoying. I've been enjoying waking up early. I say early, it's 8:30 for me, so it's not early. But I've been enjoying waking up at a reasonable time pretty much every day since I've been in India. It's been quite nice just to actually experience it. I was up at 6 a.m. A couple of days ago, not by choice, and I can talk about that more, but it was just nice to see the sun coming up and to have complete peace, which is very rare in India, as I'm sure you can imagine, but just nothing, just complete peace. It was just nature making its noises in the morning. It's nice, and I think it's given me motivation to carry that on when I get back to the UK.
Getting up early? Are you getting up at 6:06 or what?
I don't think 6:06. I think that's probably quite unrealistic. As I said, the 6 a.m. the 6 a.m. start the other day was not by choice. That was by accident, by not by design. But yeah,
Okay.
we can talk about that more.
I guess we'll get into it. But before we do, let's spin a wheel. Career. What challenges have you faced in your career and how did you overcome them? Thoughts?
I've faced plenty of challenges in my career, as you are well aware, that I've jumped around a lot. I start a job, I hate the job every single time. When I start, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I want to go back to my old job, and then I settle in and I do well. I actually think starts to go really well for a while, and then I get bored, and I'm like, I fucking hate this job, and it's just like an endless cycle. In every single job I've done, literally every single job. It happened in my last job, it happened in the job before that, every single one. So I'd say it's a pretty major challenge, and I wouldn't say I've really overcome it yet. But I think it's about maturing and shifting my mindset. I'm going into my new job in a couple of weeks with the mindset of, I'm hoping with the mindset of an adult now, that I need to settle, but I need to actually start building a serious career for myself at one company. And I think I can do that at this company. Is go back to my old job, and I've been actually on LinkedIn. I was on LinkedIn yesterday, and I saw a post from my old director, who is not going to be my director anymore because he's on the other side of the business to where I'm joining. But he posted like a few photos from the high achievers trip that they did this year, which was they took everyone to the south of Portugal, who are the top performers in the company. And I was looking at that, and I was like, I know these people. A few of them, they were my friends, and I can outdo all of them. And I think that's the big driver for me, is proving that I can do better than other people, but also just making money. I'm at a point in my life now where I'm actually seeing places where I need to be saving money. I need to be spending money. I need to be targeting, just saving. And I think that's a big driver for me. Money in the past was a big driver, but I didn't actually have a reason for that. I just wanted to spend it on nice things, to go on nice trips, to be able to travel. Now I actually have a future to spend that money on, potentially engagement, wedding, kids, a new house that I want to be able to sell my apartment and move into something bigger outside of London. And these are all things that I didn't actually have kind of proper aspirations to a few years ago. So now I actually have kind of a proper target, a proper goal that I can say, okay, I need to do this, this, and this at work, and then I'll be able to afford this, this, and this outside of work. So I think that's a big driver for me going into this new job, to actually work hard, to actually settle down and make something for myself. So I can't say I've overcome that challenge yet, but I think that's why I think it's different this time. Everyone, including you, has asked me, why is it different this time? Why is it going to be different to every other job that you've hated, including this one? I hated this job at certain points, but I do think that, yeah, it's very different in terms of where I am in my life, and therefore that should help me overcome this challenge ultimately.
Yeah, it's interesting too that you mentioned that and you don't really mention the personal brand.
I mentioned that because I'm not really facing a major challenge with the personal brand at the moment. I think
Okay.
the personal
Yeah.
brand, honestly, I just feel so in my flow right now. I've had challenges recently where I haven't been able to post. For example, I've had to stop posting until I'm back in the UK, just because VPNs have stopped working, because I think 99% sure I've been shadow banned on TikTok because of location difficulties. So I it's not really a challenge. Like I had an issue with that, and then I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just stop posting for a couple of weeks. I'll start building the muscle for stories. So I've been posting stories instead. And in the meantime, I've also been working on an actual product, which I finally finished yesterday, which is really exciting. I'm hopefully going to be able to launch it even today and actually start making money from it. So this is really, really exciting. And this stemmed from, I guess I did have a challenge there. I had a mental block on the product front. I was working on the social media front, but I wasn't launching a product. It was just taking forever. Every time I sat down to try and work on it, it just wasn't happening. So I then started to put in my habit tracker that I needed to do initially 30 minutes of work per day, start small. And I struggled with that. I did it like once or twice that week. Even though my habit tracker is kind of my gospel at the moment, I stick to it really rigidly. I struggle to do that. So the following week, I put 20 minutes of work per day. And I did it almost every day. I think I did it 5 times, and that was last week. And then I did it again this week, and I did it 6 times. And then that meant I was able to finish the product. So I actually built that muscle. I got the shit done that's going to make me money by putting it in my habit tracker and by making sure it became a part of my daily routine. And so, yeah, I have faced challenges, I suppose, but it's not something that I think moving forwards there's going to be much of a challenge with. I think now that I've got this routine of 20, 30 minutes of work per day, and I think when I get back to the UK and I'm more of a flow of routine, it will be more than that. It'll be hopefully an hour, 2 hours of work per day. But I've also, as part of that, I've made a list of everything that I can be doing, like step by step, a plan as to, okay, worked on this product now. Now I need to launch it. And then once that's done, I need to work on this product and this product and this product, and just build something properly. So when I say 20 minutes of work per day, I know exactly what that looks like now. And now that I've finished the product, I know what the 20 minutes of work is going to look like today and tomorrow and the next day. I feel very much in my flow in that regard. But yeah, I guess I did overcome a challenge to get into that flow state.
Yeah, 100%. And now that you're finally in it, you're in it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good to have overcome that challenge. What about yourself? I feel that's actually a very relevant question for you as well.
Yeah, I guess challenges with my career so far. It's not like I bounced around a ton. I have not bounced around as much as you, for sure. Um, I'd say challenges in my career have been, I think, taking on a lot at once. Like, I just don't know how to do one thing, and like biting off a lot more than I could chew. I got some feedback from a supervisor saying, if there's a to-do list and you get through it, you're really great at getting through it, but you have to be careful not to try to boil the ocean. Be careful about take a pause, take a beat, take a second, and think about it before diving in. And I feel like that feedback is so relevant just in so many areas of my life, and especially right now. But definitely challenges there. And then I think it's been, I don't know, it's every role I've been in has had different challenges for sure. And some of them have been like an unhealthy workplace, or some of them have been managing hours if I was working an hourly job at the time, or now it's balancing things, balancing whatever's on my plate right now. And that's kind of been the challenge overall in life in general, is overloading my plate and then trying really hard to balance it and feeling like I'm spinning a million plates at once. So
Yeah.
that's kind of been the challenge in general. Yeah.
Well, I think that's something that's shown up a lot on the podcast, isn't it? We've spoken about it heaps, but it sounds like it's something that you're, I think right now maybe in a difficult phase just because of where you are in terms of transitionally. But I think it sounds, in terms of headspace and mindset in that regard, you're definitely getting better.
Yeah, 100%. And I think now I'm being like thinking about life as a whole and thinking about, okay, everything that you invest your time, energy, money, love, whatever into is a reflection of who you are, every decision you're making. And if that means what you're putting in your body, how you're moving your body, what you're spending your time on, what you're spending your energy on, who you're talking to, who you're spending your energy on. And I've been thinking about that a lot, and just thinking about, okay, you only have a certain amount of hours and minutes in a day. What do I want to dedicate that energy to, and what is going to make the most sense? And now I'm realizing, okay, adulting is truly understanding the to-do list never really ends. And it's just, you have to be okay taking breaks, and it's never all going to get done. And if you do get it all done, there's always more that can be piled on, and there's always the next day and the next day and the next day, and it really never ends. So how can I make it feasible and bite off enough so I can chew, but not overload myself to the point where I'm burning out and stressing myself out? Like, how can I be more of a creator of my destiny rather than manager of my circumstances? And like right now, that's brain dumping it all, looking at my list and being like, okay, what can I delegate to another person, another day, AI? How can I make it easier for myself? And how can I make it so I can bite off? Like, how can I bite off what I can chew? And if I can't chew it all, how can I plan out where it's going to be taken care of, so I'm not super stressed out today about getting everything done?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Are you still using, is it Notion to help you with your daily schedule?
Yeah, I'm still using Notion. I'm loving my Notion template. I'm loving right now also tracking where I'm at. Actually, I didn't get to do that today, so maybe that'd be a great exercise to do while I'm on with you, because every week I go through and I basically have all of the areas of the wheel of life listed out with the date, and then I list it between 1 and 10 out of 10. And it's always just a time. But I do that every week too, with the time blocking.
That's a nice exercise to do every week like that.
Well, yeah, but also at the end of the year, I'm going to have crazy data.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to see like rises, falls. I'm going to be able to see all of them. I'm going to be able to see pie charts. I'm going to be able to see what was the best, what wasn't, the timeline. So much data.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's such a good thing to do. And I've got, what I've done recently, or a couple of months ago, I started journaling on my notes app on my phone, and I literally just add to it every single time. So there's a lot of scrolling to get to the bottom, but I've been putting regular updates to my wheel and the scores on there, so I can see, oh, this is where I was in January, this is where I am today. And it's really nice to see that progress. It's really important. I think in the past, I did have like notebooks where I would specifically use for my wheel and for sort of goals and planning like that. But it's nice to have like instant access to it on my phone. It's really good. And then with my to-do list, which I never had a to-do list outside of my job before, I've got it in my weekly planner. I've got it in my sort of habit tracker. And I can't lie, like it really stresses me out. And I've been trying to think the last few days about a better way to make it work without it stressing me out. This week, I updated it. I planned for my week the night before. So on the Sunday night, I planned for my week. And I wrote down everything on my to-do list and I was like, holy shit, that's a lot. But then if I actually look at it, I'm like, okay, I don't need to do this week. Realistically, this one, I don't even need to do or shouldn't be doing until the 1st of June or the end of the month. So how do I move that from my list in a way that I remember it at the end of the month, but it doesn't stress me out this week? Because even just seeing the size of my list this week, I'm just looking at it over there. It's so long, and I'm like, fuck, I have so much to do. But if I actually break it down, I'm like, I don't have to do this shit. There's 3 things realistically that I have to do this week, and this is
Exactly.
my final week
Yeah,
traveling. So why am I stressing myself out?
exactly. Honestly, this is like the system I feel like I've built out with Notion, where it's for me the only other layer I add to mine compared to yours is like syncing it up with the feminine cycle. But other than that, taking the entire to-do list, brain dumping it out, looking at it and saying, okay, what are the top priority things that will move the needle the most? Do those that day and be like, what needs to happen today? Do those. And then the rest, I like have it for a calendar. So for the rest, I'm like, I put it in the calendar, like, okay, this day I'm going to be doing, I'll move it from my to-do list into that day and I'll like squiggle it out of my to-do list because I like added it to another day. So when I'm looking at that day's to-do list, I'm like, okay, this is what I've bitten off that I can chew. And if not, I need to move it elsewhere. And that way I'm not looking at the entire mountain. I'm just looking at the next step. Like I'm just looking at the next day. But not to say that I am like a recovering to-do list addict and I like tend to brain dump and still do it all. But now it's okay. Like I brain dump the entire to-do list and I'm like, what can I delegate to another day? Like I take the time, be like, what needs to be done today versus what needs to move in the schedule, and then just work it that way.
Yeah.
Spend the time on the things that will move the needle the most.
Yeah, I like the recovering to-do list addicts. I feel like I'm going the other way. I'm becoming addicted to it, but I need to figure out a way to make it work better. And whether that is implementing AI, that could be a good way of doing it. But I've looked into that in terms of actually scheduling better, because I've tried to come up with rigid schedules for my day, and like I'll sit down with a calendar in front of me and put in, okay, this is what has to happen in my day. These are the non-negotiables every single day. And then where is the time in between those non-negotiables for me to get this shit done? But
Yeah.
I never actually stick to it. I very rarely stick to it. And I think it's been difficult for me. I've tried to come up with various different schedules while I've been in India, but it's been difficult to actually know what my life is going to look like when I come back. I've been going into it thinking, okay, this is what my day is going to look like and this is where I'm going to have time, but I won't know until I'm actually back. So I think it'll be a good exercise to practice in a couple of weeks when I actually start my new job and see what my day-to-day actually physically looks like. But yeah, I am a recovering doing nothing addict.
That's okay. I wouldn't say we're going the opposite, but I've gone through the challenges already. So just learn from my
Exactly.
challenges.
I feel like I should have already. I've heard so much about your challenges with to-do list and all of that for the last however many years, and so I feel like I should have learnt my lesson. But then I caught myself a couple of months ago getting stressed out about my to-do list, and I'm like, holy shit, it's that easy to fall into this.
Yeah, for real. For real. You got to protect yourself and protect your energy. Anyway, hi. So it's your last week in India. What is going on? What's happening? I feel like we have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, reasonably. I haven't been up to a huge amount. We went away for a few days last week, which was really, really nice with Savita's family. It was good. It was a really nice experience. Again, it was to another part of India, but to the middle of the jungle. The reason I'm looking a little bit rough today, and have been for the last couple of days, is because I'm fucking exhausted. At the start of the trip, I barely slept, and we spoke about that. My troubles sleeping here. It's got much better, but we were, on this recent trip, we were staying in the middle of the jungle again, and The first night, I don't remember why. I think I was just unsettled, and I don't know if you must have heard some of my crazy sleepwalking, sleep talking stories. I am a big sleepwalker, a big sleep talker, and I'm so glad it didn't happen when I stayed with you in Miami, because that would have been really embarrassing for me, obviously. But the first night, so we were sharing a room. It was me, Savita, and her sister, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was positive that there was a giant beetle or a giant spider crawling over my pillow. And I panicked and I jumped up and I started hitting my pillow, and then it jumped onto my bedside table where I had my water bottle, and I started hitting the bedside table. And then I looked and I was just like, there's nothing there. There's literally nothing there. And this is a recurring dream that I've had for years, that there's spiders, snakes, mice in my bed. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to sleep. And then I woke up in the morning at probably about, I don't know, 7:30 in the morning. And I usually sleep just wearing my boxers, right? Just wearing my underwear and nothing else. And I woke up not wearing any boxers or anything like that, but just wearing my swimming costume. I somehow in the middle of the night got up, got into my bag, and I changed into my swimming costume. I have no idea how that happened, why that happened, but I sleep changed, which is just crazy. So I slept really badly that first night. The second night, we went to bed at about, I don't know, 12-ish. At 1 a.m., Savita woke me up. Woke me up. I hadn't really fallen asleep at that point. And she was like, can you hear that? And there was like this rustling sound outside. And I was like, it's probably just a dog or something outside. We were literally in the middle of the jungle, so there was just crazy wilderness everywhere. That morning, I'd just seen a huge snake just roaming around, and it was very surreal where we were staying. And she was like, no, it's been rustling for over an hour. I can't sleep. Can you check what it is? So I looked out the window. There was nothing there. And I was like, maybe it's probably just the dog. And then we basically came to the conclusion that we'd left some trash outside, and the dog had got into it and was just going through it. And it didn't stop for at least an hour and a half after that, and neither of us could sleep. And then Savita's sister woke up. So she was like, can you go out and check? So I opened the door and peered out. We were staying in this little cabin in the middle of the woods. So I peered my head out the door, and there was nothing there. There was no trash. There was nothing. But I didn't want to leave the shack. I didn't want to leave where we were staying because, I don't know, I was a little bit scared because we were in the middle of the jungle. It could have been a buffalo that could have charged at me. Savita scared me a little bit and said that it could have been a tiger. It could have been a snake. Who knows what it was? I didn't really want to go out, but it was so loud. Now that she'd pointed it out, I couldn't not hear it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think the only way this is going to stop is if I physically go round to that side of the shed and actually see what it is and scare it off. But I got it into my head at 3 a.m. that it was a vampire. And genuinely, I got it into my head that it was a vampire, and that the vampire was trying to get me to come out, or one of us to come out, because the vampire law is that they can't come in unless they're invited in, right? Did you know that?
Okay.
Yeah. No. So they can't come in unless they're invited in. So I was like, that's why it's making all this noise, trying to get us to actually come out, because it can't come in. And I was like, so I'm not going to go out. I was genuinely shitting myself. I was so scared that I was going to be eaten by a vampire. I was like, we have to wait until it's sunlight, daytime, and then the vampire will be gone. It can't get us in the sunlight. So, yeah, sleepless night. And then at about 5 a.m., Savita's sister jumped up and screamed, and we were like, what's going on? What's going on? And we turned the light on, and she was like, there's a mouse. A mouse just fell on me. And there was a mouse running around the room like this. It was really cute, to be fair. It was a really adorable little mouse with like these big, like cartoony, cute eyes. But basically, this mouse had fallen on her about 4 times in the middle of the night, and she didn't realize. She thought it was just like an insect that she just shrugged off or something. And then it happened a fifth time, and she realized it was a mouse. And she jumped up, and the mouse, we saw it just scurrying around the room, climbing up the walls, and there was like a big wooden beam in the middle of the room. And it was like climbing around, and basically that's what the noise was. It was this mouse that was rustling around outside, it was rustling around in the room, it was going in and out between the room and outside. And that was what was causing the noise all night. And this mouse was literally on the beam above our beds, so we were like, we can't sleep, it's gonna fall on us again. It's fallen on Savita's sister multiple times now. We can't sleep now. So I decided at that point, I was like, you know what? I've had probably 20 minutes of sleep. It's almost 6 a.m. I'm just gonna stay awake. I'm just gonna go for a walk. I'm just gonna soak in the morning noises. I want to sit outside with a book and just read. We're not gonna be able to sleep now. So I did, and that was 2 nights ago. I have barely slept. Last night I managed to sleep about 6 hours or so. I just didn't sleep particularly well. So I've been on the struggle bus in terms of sleep. I've got massive eye bags. I'm struggling a bit in terms of energy levels, and hence it's showing in my face, in my hair, in my demeanor.
Oh my God, these stories are crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy. I don't know how to mastermind that beyond, dude, take a
I
nap.
know.
Like, oh my God.
It's not really mastermindable, to be honest. But yeah, I just wanted to explain why my energy levels are the way they are, why my hair is like a scarecrow. I'm in a exhausted state. But other than that, I've been pretty good. I think we spoke about last week about how I've struggled a little bit with socially here. Did we speak about that briefly, I think, last week?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think over the last week or so since we spoke, it's shown up more than before. Like, I found it really difficult. I felt very, very lonely, actually, in many ways, and to a certain extent that I felt like I need to be to more in this situation, because I found it really difficult communicating and socializing. And yeah, I felt like I've needed Savita's love more, and I've asked her that, and I've said I need you to be more there for me, because I don't really have anyone else here at the moment. Or I have her family, but there's that communication barrier. And it's got to a certain point where I've loved my time here. I've had an amazing, amazing time with her family, meeting her friends, with Savita, of course. That's the main thing. We've bonded on another level. Our relationship has really been taken to another level on this trip, I feel. But I am looking forward to going home a little bit now. I'm not looking forward to... do you know what? I am also looking forward to starting my job and to starting my routine and getting back into the swing of things. I think I've been getting shit done while I've been here, but I have largely been in vacation mode for the last 6 weeks. And so
Yeah.
it will be nice to get back into a sort of routine. It'll be nice to be back with friends who there's no having to repeat myself 10 times. It'll be nice being back with family and in my familiar environment. It will be. And I said that to Sveta a couple of days ago. I was like, being away for this amount of time has made me realize how much I love London, how much I love the UK, and what luxuries I have there that I don't have while I'm traveling. And she took it the wrong way. I think maybe I shouldn't have said that to her, of all places, of all people, in her home. But she took it the wrong way and said she feels the same going the other way. Like, when she comes to London, she loses a lot of the luxuries in her life. But that's understandable, because she's coming away from her home in India. I'm coming away from
Yeah.
my home in the UK. And I have so much of a life there that I don't really have here. So yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle, but I know that I'm probably never going to get the opportunity to spend this amount of time here or with her family again. So in the future, it's probably going to be like a 2-week trip here and there to see her family, to take our family here, which is okay. I can manage that. I won't get homesick. It'll be a nice vacation is what I'm used to, is these 1-2 week trips to travel basically and to experience something new, to visit family or whatever, and that's absolutely fine. I won't feel that void that I felt in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, exciting about this product that I'm about to launch. I finally finished it yesterday, so I just need to figure out how I'm actually going to launch it and actually sell it today. But it's all really exciting in that regard.
I have something
Yes.
for that. The mastermind that I shared with you also has a program that you have access to. There's like a sales edition of Talking to the Camera for 30 days where it gives you 30 days of prompts of how to sell something by talking to the
Yeah,
camera.
perfect.
So
Okay.
it's
Well,
there.
I've been making headway on the Masterminds. I've been really enjoying it. I think someone said in the first episode of it that this is more than just a mastermind for your social media, for your content. It's more of a deep dive into yourself as well. Like, it's a very intensive internal journey, and I'm really finding that it's been a really nice experience, and I've had some really nice breakthroughs, not just directly from it, but the work that I've put in alongside the mastermind I've had these really nice kind of breakthroughs personally, and I've also, I feel like, adapted my thought process in terms of the way content should be done. I think my content was very rigid before, and I haven't managed to change it yet because I've been doing the mastermind while I haven't been posting. But I have so many ideas when I come back, and it's a really cool thing. So thank you for sharing that with me. But what was I talking about? Damn, my mind's blanked.
Selling your program.
Selling my program,
Sell
yeah.
your
So
product.
actually, the main thing is right now where to actually upload it, because and where to physically sell it, where people can pay and then it goes straight to them. And I think I have a couple of ideas in terms of what a lot of creators use, and I just need to look into that today. But my plan is, I've literally had well over 100 DMs of people asking for help, and I've said to them, I'm working on something and I'll send it to you when it's ready. And I literally just need to upload it somewhere so that they can click a link and pay, and the product will be in their inbox. And then I can literally just DM it to every single one of them. And I have no doubt I want to make a lot of money doing that. So yeah, exciting times. Exciting times. It's been actually in many ways a very good week. And I give myself a life score, like an overall life score at the end of each week as part of my fitness tracker. It was something my personal trainer
Yeah.
used to get me to do. And last week, I think I gave myself a 5 because I felt very flat. I didn't feel like I was getting much done. Life wasn't great. It wasn't very good either. It wasn't very bad either. This week, I've given myself a 7 because I've got shit done and things are actually not incredible, but they're going well and looking in the right direction. And I'd say my wheel and my outlook on life is very well rounded. And I'll leave my segment with one thought, one incredible, insane breakthrough that I've had.
Okay, I'm ready.
I can't even tell you where this stemmed from, to be honest. I think it was partially the mastermind, but also just journaling and doing this work on the side. The first one, there's 2 questions that I'm going to be asking myself on a daily basis now. And I'm just going to pull it up, because basically the concept of the first one, which is the biggest one, the biggest realization I've come to, is that I receive more than I give in my life at the moment. I receive, and I give very little in pretty much every aspect of my life. Like if I look at my wheel, I'm receiving more than I give pretty much everywhere. So my question on a daily basis in every single situation is, how can I give more than I'm receiving in this situation? Because I've come to the realization that if you are giving more than you're receiving, no matter what it is, there's a very good chance that it's going to breed success in that area of life. So at work, in my job, I receive a salary, I receive commission, I receive the job, but I'm going to get more commission if I'm giving more at work. I'm going to get more accreditation. I'm going to get more notability at work if I'm giving more. The same in my relationship. If I'm giving, and giving more than I'm receiving, the chances are that she's also going to give more back. I think if you give and give and give, then whatever it is that you're giving to will probably give in return. The energy you put out is what you get
Yeah.
back. And it was a
Yeah.
huge realization for me that if I looked at every area of my life, I'm like, damn, I just sit back and I receive. I just sit back and I'm like, yeah, I'm comfortable and I like that I'm getting this stuff, and I don't need to give much back. And it means relationships become very one-sided in every aspect: friendships, romantic relationship, family relationships. It means my career is floundering, or has floundered in the past. Physical health, of course, another major one. If you're just receiving food, if you're just receiving the day to day in terms of your physical health, but you're not giving to your body, you're not giving to the gym, putting that energy out there, you're not gonna have good physical health. So it was a really interesting realization. Obviously, there is a limit, because I think if you're giving too much without receiving, then you're going to question life. You're going to question burnout as well. But I think it's an interesting shift.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, how can I provide as much value as possible to everything around me and be able to just give with from a place of absolute pure love rather than giving with an expectation to receive. And yeah, I think it's a really beautiful mindset shift and incredible.
Yeah,
Like,
no, exactly. And
amazing.
then the other question is, how can I make this situation fun? Just really simple in every single aspect. And
Yeah.
I'm sure I've heard you say that before, but I saw it on a reel. It was a guy who woke up one morning. He just bought this apartment, and he went down for breakfast, and there was a huge construction site that had just opened opposite him, and they were making noise, and it was just an ugly sight for him to wake up to every morning in his kitchen when he was having breakfast. And he was like, instead of getting angry about this, instead of getting upset about it, I was like, how can I make this situation fun? And he started to buy them donuts every day and go out and just became friends with them. And then he filmed himself, like he'd wake up in the morning, go to his kitchen window, and he'd wave at them, and they'd all wave back because they're his friends now. And I've become better at this with my meditation practice, but I do get angry and upset about situations and stressed about situations a lot that don't need to be stressed about. And in those situations, if you can approach them and go, how can I make this situation fun? Why would you ever be stressed? And you can
Yeah.
make a fun situation out of everything. It's up to you. It's your choice. The power is in your head.
Yeah, you can definitely boost any or elevate any situation, even if it's just a little bit. Even like for me, I'm always like, just put on a freaking music, put on the playlist. It'll just make it all better, you
Yeah.
know? I also say the same thing about work. If you're having fun while you're working, you never stop. Just in general, like, how can you make everything fun? How can you celebrate everything? Really beautiful shifts. I love this story about the building. That's so
Yeah,
epic.
I know. It was a really, I watched that video and I was like, damn, it's really cool. He did it in a comedic way, like almost mocking himself, but it's a really important message, actually, I think, and something that we can all take
Yeah,
into our day-to-day lives.
100%. I totally believe it. I totally believe it. It's a great way
Yeah.
to live.
Yeah. So how are you making your life fun right now? What's been going on? I feel again we have a lot to catch up on, because I think every week is so important for you right now in terms of what's been going on with work, and any progress you've been making.
Everything is I just amazing. Life is crazy. My conversation did end up getting pushed, so I have not put in anything yet. And it's something we talked about, but so I'm not making the transition quite yet, but I honestly it was beautiful such a beautiful opportunity for me to understand you don't get the thing that you want, you get the thing that you need. And I was like, oh, I really wanted to have that conversation the day after my birthday and do that. And then it got pushed to this next upcoming week. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually really glad, because I needed like 3, 4 days to really think about what I wanted to say. and how I want to approach it, and what is the desired outcome, and how can I move towards that outcome in my relationships with people. So I'm still in the process of I've been collaborating and brainstorming with my child. This is another thing. My childhood best friends came in to visit me. So they came in for half the week, and it was really nice to work through this challenge with them and brainstorm with them about it, and um you know, to collaborate in that way felt really good. So I'm really glad that I kind of got pushed out, because I needed some time to really sit on and think about what I wanted to do and what I wanted to say. So that conversation will be happening this week, and I'm feeling pretty good about what I'm gonna put out there. Friends and family are top. Obviously, last week was my birthday. Friends and family naturally reach out a lot during that time, and I was not very vocal about it on social that it was my birthday and whatever. I said it after the fact, but very subtly, not really directly, and just to see, okay, who in my life is reaching out to me because they remember, not because I reposted a story or whatever. And to see the amount of people who reached out was really nice. And to have my closest childhood best friends come to visit for 4 or 5 days was awesome. Really, really nice and incredible. I will say the day after the birthday, I kept getting calls of skepticism, and I was telling you this whole story where I was on my well, I've told this story before on my personal podcast, and we had a crazy magic interaction between you and I on voice messages where I was feeling so much self-doubt and sending you a voice message about, "Oh, man, I'm feeling so much self-doubt, and I'm getting a lot of not criticism, but getting a lot of skepticism from my sounding board and from my loved ones." And I was just like, but I have so many signs from the universe. I just have to listen to it. Hung up the voice message to you, and I turned the corner, and my name was carved into the fucking sidewalk. And after that, I was like, oh my God, the universe is talking to me. Crazy.
Really crazy. I actually spoke to Savita about that because I was like, I don't know if she'll get it. I don't know if people who aren't heavily believers in the power of the universe and manifestation actually would understand that. And it sounds very woo woo. And she did. But I feel like there are certain people who wouldn't. And but the way I explained it is, what are the chances that you're going through all these doubts and you're experiencing this conversation in your head? And I've said to you last week, I've said it to you a few times recently, that the universe is testing you. The universe is asking you, how committed are you? And are you actually ready to take the plunge? And if you actually follow through, then you've answered the question the universe is posing. But you're having all these doubts and everything that's going through your head, and then suddenly you turn this corner after sending this voice message and it says Sasha. And it's, to me, that's saying, it could say a million different things, but to me it's like a calming, guiding tone of, yes, I am speaking to you right now, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. So that was really cool.
It was so cool, and just showing like our chats, literally going our podcast chats, but our voice message chats are just so magic, and it's just really cool. But yeah, honestly, I faced a lot of that, and that was one thing too with my friends and families, or my friends that came to visit. They were huge skeptics. They were like, you are believing these like celestial signs, but also stability is important. And I'm like, yeah, but like I keep saying, like, I know it's not a logical decision, but it just makes sense. And also I'm proving it. Like I've been pitching the pod, and I've been getting responses back. Like there are conversations, like things are happening. There are things happening in that realm. I was just invited to speak on a panel for a beach tennis tournament.
Oh,
Like it just invited to, yeah, seriously, just like all these things are popping up in, like, especially after, it's been really cool because getting to know the audience and understanding like who they are since then, I feel like I've been guided in that direction. Okay, I know the people are movement oriented. I know they're wellness oriented. I know they're high achievers. They're 75% female. And I feel like my connections and things are moving that way. And I feel like everything in my life is reflecting back to me who I am. And it's been really cool to be very thoughtful about that in the way I spend my time, who I spend my time with, how I'm feeling about myself. And I honestly haven't been like, I feel great. I feel incredible. I feel awesome. Every area of my wheel feels pretty much amazing. Finances is the one area that needs a little bit of, I think, more work. I think it's not that I feel bad in that area. It's more that taking this next move, I need to be more strategic about looking at the numbers, especially because I have to just be more careful about how I'm investing my funds and where I'm investing my funds and what that looks like. And especially when you have friends come to visit and you're playing host and you're eating out a ton, like it's not great. Like I spent a lot of dough that I, not that I didn't need to, because it was a really amazing time and so much fun. And that was my vacation. I took off days for it. So not that it wasn't worth it. It was just like a lot and stuff like that. So it's just feel really good right now. I'm really excited about my career stuff. Like that's feeling really exciting and like scary as hell, but really exciting. My health feels great. I'm moving every single day, going on these magic bike rides, and I was hiking with my friends and surfing and just like doing crazy stuff. Physical health feels great. Friends feel great. Family feels great. Spirituality, I don't think I've ever felt more spiritually connected ever. And I did start daily meditating again, which has been feeling amazing. But especially with all these signs from the universe, like they just keep happening. Oh, every damn day, I'm getting all these crazy signs from the universe about where to move and what to do. And I'm just like, okay, I trust you. I trust you. And I'm here and I'm listening, and it just keeps happening. And I'm like, okay, I'm here. So spirituality's never felt better. Physical environment has never felt better. I've decided LA, Venice Beach is where I'm meant to be. I'm coming back. It's really cool after traveling too to be like, I know this is home and I need to come back after the summer. I know. It just feels right. This feels like my place. I feel really happy here. I love who I am here. So physical environment never felt better. I'm trying to think what other areas. Romance is going great, but I'm not going to chat about that on here. Fun and recreation is great. Just had my birthday last week and just killing it and having a blast. Personal growth is feeling good. I just got my DJ decks.
Cool.
So I got my DJ decks. That's kind of personal growth. I'm going to start making some really cool hippie house meditation music vibes, because I keep thinking, Josh, I've been like thinking about this. I was like, number one, obviously meditation is important, but number two, I feel like my head is clearest when I'm moving, playing tennis or on a bike ride or in a lift or yoga. My head is the clearest when I'm moving my body. And I know that there is research and science and data around meditation and how it impacts your brain. But I wonder with movement, how that impacts your brain. And I'm wondering, and I need to do some more hardcore research on this, but how movement and meditation together can rewire and restructure the brain, especially with visualization. So if you're doing both at the same time, especially with high achievement and things like that. And I feel like I'm really onto something here, and it feels like it works so naturally with my strengths. And I was thinking, it's like, I want to create this movement meditation kind of hippie house music vibe where you put this in, you're listening to it, and you can be on your walk, you can be on your bike ride, you could be dancing, you could be stretching, you could be at the gym lifting, you're doing some sort of movement listening to this, and it's a vibe and it's a bop, but you're also meditating. So this is something I've been thinking about. And also I just have all these mixes in my head about things I want to mix together and going to the live event space. So I was like, okay, it's time. I've had learn how to DJ on my list for years. I finally bought the decks, and now I'm like, every day I'm just going to take one little step. Even today was just, okay, downloading the software. One step today. Great. Filmed a video of me unboxing it to hold myself accountable. I'm going to show up and do this every day, even if it's just one little thing of learning what a fucking button does or whatever. Just do a little bit every day and be a professional beginner and follow my ass, because it is learning an instrument. So yeah, life honestly feels amazing right now. I'm feeling really, really excited. I truly feel like I'm being an active creator of my destiny in this moment and being very thoughtful and strategic about everything. And it's feeling so good and really just exciting. Finances is the one area that I need to pay some attention to, but honestly, it's just spending time and energy in the numbers and in the boxes. And I am doing it. It's just like, it's like that thing that's on the to-do list that gets plugged in. It's okay, I need to spend some intentional time on this. But honestly, life feels fucking great.
Good. That's incredible to hear. I feel like it's been building up to this point for a while in terms of different areas of your life ticking, but it sounds like it's accumulated into kind of one big, very healthy wheel now. So that's amazing to hear. Out of interest, obviously you post on social media the daily every day. Yeah.
For the most part, there is something that's posted every single day, and it ranges. Like every other day is TikTok, every other day is Instagram. Podcasts go out 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So and then I try to do stories. I try to do stories daily of just like hitting on the 4 pillars of the brand, which is like hustle, health, fulfillment, and fun. So hitting on the pillar. Yeah. So basically that's.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You mentioned about filming yourself, unboxing the DJ decks and all of that stuff. Would you say that posting or certain type of content that you do is a good way of holding you accountable because something that I've been flirting with is trialing different types of content, of course, but basically stories or reels or TikToks about, okay, I'm starting my journey on this today, and basically maybe posting a story about, okay, I'm not drinking anymore, or something along those lines. And to me, it feels like announcing it to the internet suddenly makes it more real and suddenly holds me more accountable. So it just got me thinking when you mentioned about the DJ decks and DJing, and posting about that online. Do you feel that by posting about it online, that's actually gonna, to a certain extent, hold you accountable?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. Because it's going to hold me accountable because I'm committing to, like, hey, I'm doing this thing, follow along with me. But it's also for the audience and for the community, I think it's opening a window to, hey, I'm a professional beginner at this thing. I'm starting this thing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Come along with me if you'd like to. And it creates a signature series. It's looking at the artistry and it's opening myself up vulnerably to the community and be like, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing, but this is something I'm really excited about and I'm going to learn something. So join in about this. So yeah, I think so. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes, right? So I know there's certain videos that do better than others, and getting more thoughtful about that. And yeah, it's a time. But why not? And I'm like thinking there's so many signature series I'm like thinking about doing. I'm thinking about like meditate with me for 30 days where I go live every day and do a quick little meditation, or like a painting series, or just things that light me up and bring me joy, and just documenting it. Because one thing that stuck with me, and you'll hear it in the mastermind, is there's truly no better pleasure than watching someone enjoy themselves. Like when you're out and about and someone's just in their vibe and in their feels and just having a great time, it's a cool thing to watch and it's fun. And it's like, how can you make it more fun? Is by you having fun. The energy you put into something is the energy you get out of it. So if I want my audience to have more fun and to be more inspired when they're watching my content, I need to have more fun and I need to be more inspired. Because you are ultimately a disco ball. Everything that's reflected to you is pushed back and reflected back out. Everything around you, all you're doing is just taking it and putting it back out, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I think, yeah, because my content, I think, as I said, has been quite rigid in the format, because I found something that worked for me quite early on. And as a result, I've just been retorting that same kind of content. And I think my content's been very raw in terms of the things that I've been talking about, right? And so I watched the masterminds and about storytelling and about being raw and showing your true self. And I'm like, I've been doing that to an extent, but I've only been doing that. I've only been doing one format of that. And I think the other thing that I've taken from the early episodes of this mastermind is about not overthinking. I overthink so much before I post. I'm like, okay, should I really be doing this? Or should I actually post this? Would this be a stupid thing to do? And then I'll go to Savita and say, should I post this? And she'll go, I'm not sure about that. But instead of overthinking it, just do what feels true to me, and actually showcase my creativity and my life. And I think actually one of those things is one thing that I've become known for amongst my community is being raw, open, and honest. But why does that have to be exclusive to talking about gambling and about my past? It could be about the work that I'm putting in now. It could be stories about other areas of my life, and approaching that in a different way and holding me accountable in that regards, just to live my best life, basically. So some of the stories I've been posting recently have been centered around my day to day, and not just about what I'm up to with gambling. It's been about other areas of my life and movies that I've been watching, and just trialing around with different things and not overthinking it and just putting it out there. And stories, I wasn't sure how they would perform, but they've been getting a lot of interaction. And also I think stories are really important for communicating with your community directly, because for me, if I follow someone on Instagram, the chances of me actually seeing their posts come up is very slim, because I don't scroll very much, but I see stories at the top of my page. So that's I think the best way of communicating with your followers and your community directly. So
Yeah.
it's a good time to be a creator.
I'd say so, especially with the rise of AI. Definitely get on that train for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm glad to hear that
Yeah.
everything is going well for you. And obviously things, I think, again, everything kind of falls into place when it's meant to, right? And you were doing this mastermind at the same time or around the same time of when you were pitching your podcast and pitching yourself as a personal brand. And it's like divine timing, isn't it?
All of it. All of it is so crazy divine timing and just the crazy synchronicity. There are just no coincidences. There are just crazy synchronicities all the time. And to live in this state is just living in just a dream,
Yeah.
honestly. It's just having to go with the flow and being like, okay, like I see the signs, I hear them, I'm listening, I'm following along. It's crazy. And I know it sounds wild and I know I sound crazy to some people, but I can't help it, you know?
It sounds wild, but it's this, I think when you don't get it, it's impossible to get it. Like when you're in a headspace, I've been there before as recently as a few months ago, where I was like, I so wish I was one of those people who could get into that flow state, who could have these signs from the universe and be directed by that. And it's manifestation at its core, right? That's what manifestation is. And I just didn't get it for a long time. And I've been in those flow states before, but I'm like, how do you get there? But I feel like I'm also there right now. I'm also very much in that space where I'm getting signs, I'm being guided by something bigger than myself. And it's a really cool thing. But I think that's the best way of putting it, is if you don't get it, you're not going to get it because you've got this mental block. You haven't opened up a certain part of your brain that just doesn't understand it. But when you do figure out how to get to that state, it's a beautiful experience. And I think, it suddenly all makes sense how people can get into that position where they're just flowing.
Exactly. And it's just like, how can I be in that state as much as possible? And that's like where like, how do I move my life in a way that I'm in that state as much as possible and like actively moving my life in that direction, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, y'all, thanks for listening in on this crazy transformation journey that we're both on right now. We love you so much, and we'll catch you guys next week on Mastermind Moments. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments Podcast.